Really exciting video today, y'all. We are going to be throwing some new discs that I have been really excited to get in my hands. And the first of those I know y'all are going to be amped on, and that is the Royal Line Savior. Y'all, when the Grace and the Rive came out, man, they started getting thrown by a lot of people that probably weren't throwing Latitude because they're really good discs. And this plastic is incredible. So when I saw they were coming out with the Savior, I was really excited. I love overstable mid-ranges. The Justice is one of my favorite. And the cool thing about the Savior is that it has a good amount of glide too. The Savior is a 4403. You guys will be able to get it in like a week or so on the website, but we got it here to try out first. I am so excited to throw this thing. It feels incredible in my hand. And again, this plastic, this Royal plastic is absolutely insane. Cannot wait to test this thing out today, show you guys whether or not it's something that you think would go into your bag. And then we also have the Supreme, which is Dynamic's sort of Royal line with the plastic, which feels just as good because it just is. It's incredible. And we've got the Supreme Fugitive here as well to throw, which is I'm so stoked. I'm so stoked to throw these today. And the Fugitive is a 5304. Okay, so this is going to be a little more like the Justice in its stability, but obviously the speed and the glide being more. But man, they just like they feel good for backhand. It like fits inside of all the creases of your hand, so you have good contact. For forehand, it feels really sturdy and stable. So we're gonna be throwing these today. We're gonna be comparing them, and you guys let me know how y'all feel about them and if you think it's the type of disc that'll go in your bag. Now I know both of these are gonna be stable, obviously, so I'm not really gonna throw them flat much today unless there are scenarios for that. We are on a 353-foot hole. I'm not throwing this 353 feet. I honestly just didn't want to go in the field because it's covered in dew right now and it makes my hands and my discs all wet. So we're gonna be throwing these two discs onto this hole that does have a good shape for them down to the left. And I mean, we'll see how we can smash them because they've got good glide and I think that they'll be able to push down there. It's just the stability is gonna be a little much, but let's see how we can do. All right, so again, starting off with the Savior here, I'm gonna throw it out on an Annie and just see what we can do with it. Ooh. Yeah, and I didn't even release that good enough, but as y'all saw on that, you can tell that it has good glide, which is sick for like overstable discs. Feels really good in the hand, and if I had given that a little bit more Annie, I think that it would have carried pretty far. Okay, now we're gonna throw the Fugitive. I've thrown this already once and it is pretty stable, so I'm gonna give this a good bit of Anheuser. Oh, that wasn't Annie, that was just bad. What the? All right, let's give these another go. We got the Fugitive here again. I want to get a good shot here. Oh yeah. So yes, very stable. Flies really smooth though. Good release there, feels super good in your hand. Now that one did get a little bit close to the right side, but because of its stability it came out of it. I think if we threw the Savior like that, it might extend a little too much. So we're gonna aim a little more left with this one and still give it Annie, obviously. Oh yeah, look at that thing glide, dude. For a mid, that's sick. That's sick. Great stability on it, obviously. All right, now let's see how this thing does on a little touchy forehand in here. It's gonna be nice and easy, obviously not that far away. And because of its stability, if I give it Annie, it should hold and land really smoothly for us. Nice and easy, obviously past the basket there. And then the Fugitive, I think is gonna be a little more like the Justice at slower speeds. So you can see how quickly that stables out. Now this hole is one of the ones I was really excited to come and throw these discs on. because for a while I was throwing my Justice on it, but it was coming up too short. Obviously that's because Justice doesn't really have any glide. But this is a 297-foot hole. It's downhill just a little bit, and it's like a dog leg left. Yeah, you could throw a neutral putter straight, but for me, I feel way more comfortable crossing the tee pad here and throwing a flex that misses the left side and then stables out at the end and scoots in towards the basket. That's just what I'm comfortable with, and I think both of these are gonna do really, really good with that specific shot. So let's see if we can park this one and get a birdie. We're gonna start off with the Fugitive here, and I'm aiming at the trees on the left side of the fairway with Annie, trusting that I'll miss them and then that I'll stable back out and come in towards the basket. Oh, inside of it, inside of it, inside of it. Okay, outside of it. Okay, I mean, that's like 7 feet away. But that turned over a little more than I was expecting. And I think that's because I'm treating it like that Justice when it's just not. So I need to treat these as their own unique discs and learn how they fly. So a little less Annie on that one, which also means a little less Annie on this one, because this one isn't as stable either. So we're just gonna pop this one with a little bit of Annie and see if we can get a good flight out of it, because this one has some good glide on it. Oh yeah. Push down there. Oh, I hit one of the guardian trees. And then I'm gonna throw the truss too, just so that you guys can see. This will be more of a neutral kind of flat shot. I am still gonna approach it from this side, but I'm just gonna throw it flat. Man, that pushed straight. Wow, that almost got understable. What in the world? So I left my phone on this bench and kind of freaked out. Didn't know that I had left it over here. The Fugitive was literally parked in that last hole. But since we came back to this one, I was like, hey, let's throw it again. Let's see if we can like smash one of these and see how far we can get it. Fugitive here. Gonna try and have really good form too, get good extension on my arm. Man, it's stable. Look at that thing. I love how consistent it is though. I just love the glide on that thing. So one of the problems that I always find myself having when I get new discs is thinking that they're gonna fly like a previous disc that I have. And it's okay to kind of have those comparisons in your head because that gives you a starting point. But then after you throw them, you have to be like, okay, this is not that disc. This is not that Justice. This is not X, Y, and Z. And then you learn where it fits within that realm. So now that we've thrown these a couple times, the Fugitive is actually going further than the Savior. It is a higher speed. I believe this was a 5 and this was a 4. The Fugitive is definitely more stable than the Savior is. The Savior does have good glide. So now that we've kind of thrown them a couple times, we're back at this hole. Let's see if we can park both of them. Still gonna give the Fugitive a good bit of Annie, just not as much as I did last time. Inside of it, yes. That should be parked. I think that's 2 feet from the basket. Nice. So really what I did there was change my aim point a little bit more to the left. I aimed about 10 feet to the left of the middle of the fairway, knowing that my anhyzer would draw it in. So now I'm gonna do the same thing here with the Savior, and we're gonna see if we can get this one down there too. See, so in my head, I was like, no, I don't need to give this one as much Annie. But then I changed my aim point, so I did actually need to give it more Annie. All right, so that's 2 separate shots on this hole with the Fugitive that have both been birdies. So that one obviously was right there, and then the first time that I threw it, before I lost my phone, it was laying up right here. Man, that makes me really happy because I'd been throwing an evader on this hole and it was super touchy, like making sure that I threw it hard enough, but not too hard to where I went back there, and not too soft to where I landed up over here. So this 5-speed is just like, it's perfect for this 300-foot kind of flexy line. I'm really stoked for this one right now. All right, so let's talk about these discs and our experience with them today. Honestly, so the Savior being a slower speed disc that is a 0.3, it felt more stable than the Fugitive at times, even though the Fugitive is a 0.4. And I think that's because of the speed. I could be wrong in that, I'm not too sure, but that's just kind of how it feels to me. I would throw them fairly similar, and sometimes the Savior would just be way more stable and seem to come out and finish earlier to the left. And again, that's probably related to the speed of the disc. I really like this Supreme Fugitive. You guys can see the profile of the disc right here. It fits really good in the palm of my hand for backhands. Both of them feel really good for forehands, but the backhand potential on this disc, it just feels like it's not gonna slip out or anything like that. It feels really good, really secure, and honestly, it's incredible for backhand. And then the Savior, you guys can see right here, it's a little more narrow on the sides. So when you grip it, you have to pull your fingers in a little bit tighter, which makes it feel a little bit less secure. You just really have to grip it a little bit harder. But for forehands, it feels better than the other one. So depending on what you're looking for, both of them feel really good in the hand. But again, specifically backhand over on the Fugitive, and then forehand on the Savior here feels absolutely amazing. Now, I definitely think that the Fugitive is gonna make my bag. I really like it a lot. I want the Savior to make it in my bag just because I think it's a cool disc. I love the way that it feels on forehands. I'm gonna need to get some more work in for it. And one thing that I'm planning on doing for this season, I'm gonna do a new in the bag soon. But I really want to try and fill my bag with discs that I've always wanted to throw and learn them, like the Glory, like the Trust. Other discs that I'm like, man, this thing feels good. I really want to put in some work with it and learn it just for the sake of how it feels in my hand and the plastic. But I hope that you guys enjoyed today's video. Let me know if you're excited for the Supreme Fugitive or for the first run Savior to come out for you guys to throw. Love ya. See you in the next one. Peace out.